Anton Tobias never had much on his mind.
Don't you think you should have, like, a goal?
My dream life would be to lie around all day in bed and watch TV while some hot broad delivers me food.
And he always had time on his hands.
4 bodies have been discovered, and the killer is still at large.
Until one of them
What's happening to me?
got a mind of its own.
I have no control over my hand. It makes me do things I don't want it to do.
Aren't you a little old for Ding Dong Ditch?
Sorry about your bush.
Now,
I'm gonna call 911. What's the number?
I'm not the killer.
Okay.
his hand won't stop.
I don't want to hurt you. Don't!
Ew, that's disgusting.
His friends won't die.
You're dead.
Undead, actually. There was this big bright white light at the end of a long tunnel.
So what happened?
We were like, forget that, man. It's too far.
And the only way to stop it is to keep it busy.
Freeze!
Drop the knitting needles.
That's probably not a good idea.
Put him down!
Cuff me!
Put those needles down, young man!
Cuff me! Cuff me!
Columbia Pictures presents
The police have no leads, and the killer is still out there.
You scream like a girl.
the comedy
Careful, it's on kind of loose. That's really starting to get on my nerves.
that dares to give scary movies
Oh, look at me! I'm in the face!
the backhand.
What you doing, man? That's my dad. Come on.
CPR, man. I saw it on Baywatch.
Idle Hands. The touching story of a boy and his hand.
Kinky.
For a white guy.
If idle hands are the devil's playground,
Anton would not scoot his behind off the couch if the house was on fire.
Hey, Mom, we're out of milk. Anton, don't you think you should have some ambition? Like a goal?
then slacker Anton Tobias is in for the ride of his life.
4 bodies have been discovered, and the killer is still at large.
It's not me. It's my hand. It's like I have no control over my hand.
The killer was wearing your shirt.
The killer was wearing me.
I'm gonna call 911. What's the number?
Columbia Pictures presents a twisted new comedy.
My hand. It makes me do things I don't want it to do. I should not be here, Molly. I'm dangerous.
Oh, yeah? How dangerous.
I come from a long line of Druidic priestesses. We need to find the poor soul whose hand is possessed.
I'm not the killer.
Okay. I mean, if OJ could get off, then I'm sure. You dear?
That will scare the
Ew, that's disgusting.
out of you.
It doesn't obey me at all.
Duh.
Idle hands.
Here we go. This will be next. Let's roll it.
Starring a red-hot mix of fearless talent with Devon Sawa, Seth Green, Vivica A. Fox, Eldon Henson, Jessica Alba, and Jack Noseworthy. Bringing this gruesome and irreverent comedy to the screen is director Rodman Flender.
It's completely a whacked out story, and I loved it right away.
Anton, in the beginning of the story, is the laziest kid, you know, in America.
I'm dry. This ain't Domino's. Come over here and get it.
Oh, man, I'm comfortable.
Here we go. Mix this up.
So the devil picks him as the host for these evil seeds. I killed him, but it was an accident.
Okay, Anton. I have to leave now.
Quiet, folks. Got it now. Got it ready, then here we go.
There's not really much to describe Mick and Penub. They're both pretty apathetic.
Someone killed my parents.
This is the best part, dude.
I thought it was totally sick and disgusting, so I was totally into it.
Both Mick and Penub get killed by Anton.
Why are you doing this, Anton? I don't know. It's me, Penub. I'm your buddy. Let's go.
Anton chops Penup's head off. So basically, I'm decapitated the whole movie.
You come back as zombies because it was just too far to walk to heaven.
You're dead.
Undead, actually. There was this big bright white light.
So what happened?
We were like, forget that, man. It's too far.
He meets this terrific girl that he's had a crush on for the longest time.
Ollie's lived across the street from you for like, what, ever? don't you go tell her about your disturbing obsession with him?
All right, here we go.
Oh man, she dropped her lyrics book.
Go bring it back to her. Be like a knight in shining armor.
Oh yeah, she'd be all grateful. She'd invite me in.
My book. Thank you so much for returning it.
They finally connect after his hand gets possessed and he cannot control it. Talk about bad timing.
She doesn't know that Anton has this evil seed in his hand, and he just does all these insane things and insane gestures.
Do you want to come inside for a second and talk?
So she's just like, okay, that's cool. And you know, like that's more of a drive.
I am a druidic priestess in search of evil spirits that intends to open up the gates of hell and drag a free soul into the netherworld.
Quiet, folks. Let's get it quiet in this area, please. Let's roll it.
Action.
I know what's happening to you, Anton, and I can stop it.
No.
Die! I like to be a tough chick in a film. I like stunts. I like kicking butt. I enjoy doing that.
Come on, Debbie. Give him what for. Wait. I'm not your host. Okay, the evil was in my hand. Look. I cut it off, and now it's after my girlfriend. You got a girlfriend?
To develop the wacky character of the possessed severed hand, Rodman Flender was led to sleight of hand magician Christopher Hart, who played Thing in the Addams Family movie.
So I'll show you Thing was more expressive and fun. If he was excited, he'd hop up like a little puppy dog. If he was nervous, he'd quiver.
I told Chris this hand has got to be entirely different. This hand has got to be a mean killing machine. This is the Terminator of severed hands.
The guy who plays the hand is such a character. He has these like amazing long fingers, and he puts this prosthetic thing on it, and it's all bloody and sickening. I'm really scared of it.
Love it. Shoot it.
I really like Rodman a lot. He knows we're making a different type of film as a horror comedy.
It's been really, really fun, and it's a bunch of great people.
Why do I need to shout? 3, 2, 1, play back.
Exciting, funny.
Yeah, there's something wrong with my friend. I think he took some nutmeg or something.
It's like really silly.
Careful, it's on kind of loose. Funny, at the same time creative.
Look at me! I'm Leatherface!
I think it's a really funny movie.
Yeah, it's got the barf breath. What you doing, man? That's my dad. Come on.
CPR, man. I saw it on Baywatch.
Idle hands are the devil's playground.
Idle Hands.
That's it? That's it? No explosions, no hellfire, no...
Funny you should say that, Mick, because at one time we did have explosions and hellfire. Hi, I'm Rodman Flender, director of the motion picture Idle Hands. As a film fan, one of the things I really love about this DVD format is that it allows someone with more than a passing interest in a film a little window into the creative process of the film making. The original scripted ending for Idle Hands didn't take place in the auto shop, but in the school swimming pool. We shot that scene, but it didn't make it into the finished film. Why did we change endings? One of the biggest challenges in making Idle Hands was striking the right balance between the comedy and the horror. This is something we were always working on from the development of the script through post-production. Now, sometimes movies evolve as they get made, and one of the things we thought worked best about Idle Hands was the comedy. When we examined the whole film with the swimming pool ending, the producers, the studio, and I thought that ending was tonally different from the 90 minutes that preceded it. It had scope and spectacle, but it just felt different. It didn't have the same sense of humor. So I was really delighted when the studio allowed us to shoot a new ending for the film, one that we all thought was more in keeping with the rest of the movie. I want to make it clear, I think this ending, the ending in the auto shop, is the right ending for Idle Hands. That's my choice. The pool scene wasn't cut from the movie because anyone thought it didn't work. It was cut because tonally it just felt different from the rest of the film. Now, having said that, a lot of hard work went into the swimming pool sequence, and this DVD format allows it to be saved from the anonymity of this, the cutting room floor. Please keep in mind that what you're about to see was never really finished. The special effects weren't completed, and the scene was never properly scored. We've taken some music cues from the rest of the film and strung them together and put them against the scene here. Also, the scene ends with a whiteout, which goes to the hospital scene that's already in the movie, the real ending of the film. That was always the ending of the film. But enough yapping. Let's get to the scene. To give you a sense of context, let's back up a few shots to Tanya and Molly at the fan. This was shot on our sound stages on Valencia, as was this shot, I believe. And this swimming pool was an abandoned Y in Pasadena. And there was another reference to Go Go Buffalo there on the wall, if you noticed. We shot a lot of stuff of people busting out of the gym. It was a lot of fun for me to shoot. It reminded me a little of The Blob, the Steve McQueen movie, where people bust out of the movie theater. That shot was another Chris Hart body removal shot, leaving his hand. This long crane shot is probably the most self-indulgent shot I've ever shot. This swimming pool was designed by a woman architect whose name I can't remember, but she designed San Simeon, also known as Hearst Castle, if anyone's been up there and is a fan of architecture. Debbie and Anton get together. There's a shot of them getting together in the school dance, which we haven't included here. Now, Jessica's a great screamer. She's a fine actress and a wonderful horror film screamer. So good, in fact, that we, in the sound department, built a little library of her screams and used them for some of the other actors in the movie whose screams weren't as good. So when you hear some screams in the film earlier on, it's actually Jessica screaming. In reality, Jessica's hanging over a green screen at our sound stage, and VCE built a model of the pool bottom with a hellhole. The pool room falling apart, the walls cracking, tiles popping, all of that was inspired by the end of the movie Suspiria, which I mentioned earlier. When we found the location, this is how we found it. It was a mess. We shot this stuff first, and then shot the room looking clean and pristine later, after we had cleaned it up. It was such a mess, in fact, there was about 3 inches of pigeon droppings on every surface of this whole location. We had to wear masks and rubber booties on our shoes when we went into the location, because it was so toxic. It was like going into a nuclear waste area or something with pigeon droppings. Those hands coming out of the wall were borrowed, inspired, stolen, take your pick, from Roman Polanski's Repulsion. Although I recently saw George Romero's Day of the Dead, again, first time I'd seen it since it came out, and he has a great shot of hands coming out of a wall as well at the beginning of the film. It was very hard to shoot. That was a fake wall we had put up at the location, and we had, I don't remember, 50, 70 people back there in a space that was about 1.5 feet deep. They were crammed literally on top of each other. It was a horrible condition. And they could barely hear the instructions we were giving them to stick their hands out of the wall or pull their hands back into the wall. It was grim. That shot of the hand scraping the board going backwards, that was a motion control shot. And what that means is the camera dolly is attached to a computer, and the computer remembers the camera move. And once we get a take we like, the computer repeats the camera move without the actor, without Chris Hart. And then we digitally remove him because we have the same camera move. twice, the same thing twice, once with Chris Hart, once without it. There, when Anton stabbed the hand, it might have looked like Anton's left hand. This scene on the diving board went on for a long time. It was much, much, much longer, and there was a whole sequence where the hand crawls up Anton's back while he's trying to rescue Molly, and he stands up and slams down on his back and crushes the hand, and the hand comes back to life and breaks its own fingers, bending backwards, crawling on its back like a spider towards Anton. I thought it had a few too many beats, and cut it down to this form, which is the way I'd like to present it.
Take me!
Even though, as I said, it's not quite finished. There, Devin's on what's known as a descender. It's kind of like bungee jumping. There's a cable attached to his ankle, and he was yanked up away from camera, and then we processed it in reverse, so it looks like he's falling towards camera. These shots are all about 70% done, I'd say. As I said in my little speech at the Avid editing deck, I just looked at that and I realized I think I kind of look like a hostage reading a prepared statement. I'm not an actor, so forgive my woodenness, but no one was holding a gun to my head when we shot that. The group here was shot against a green screen, the background plate at the location, and VCE later added the staircase, which they never finished.
Stairway to Heaven.
Mick says Stairway to Heaven, and in our temporary music mix of the film, we did put in Led Zeppelin's Stairway to Heaven. The middle instrumental guitar break as those stairs unfold. And we all really liked it, but Stairway to Heaven by Led Zeppelin is a song that's expensive to license. So we couldn't get it for this, but if you have it at home, throw it on. It's a good song. And then we go back to our hospital scene that you've already seen.
Why are you doing this, Anton? I don't know. It's me, Panab. I'm your buddy. I know who you are. I don't want to hurt you. Then don't. It's not me. It's my hand. It's like I have no control over my hand. Ah! I don't know how much longer I can hold it. Run! I will. Get out of my way! Just go!
It's gonna be okay, Anton. I'm not gonna tell you, but I swear. I'm sorry. Everything's gonna be cool, man. Everything's gonna be...
Freeze! Yeah, freeze! Guys, what do I do?
I think... I was gonna say I think you should do what the officers tell you, but now I changed my mind. Yeah, man, you should just kill him.
They're alive! They are not! You just shot one through the head. They're morgue meat! Look, guys, I don't want to kill anybody else.
Hey, you don't want to go to jail, though.
Jail. That's it. That's exactly it. They'll throw me in one of those rubber rooms. I won't be able to hurt anybody else. Cuff me! Okay, just drop the knitting needles. That's probably not a good idea. Why don't you just cuff me, okay?
Drop the knitting needles and put your hands on your head now!
I can't! Okay, put down the knitting needles, Anton, and come quietly. Cuff me!
Put the knitting needles down now!
Just cuff me! Put them down! Cuff me!
Put them down!
Cuff me! Put them down! Cuff me!
Put
Put
the
them down!
needles down!
Cuff me! Put them down!
Put 'em
Cuff
down!
me! Cuff me! Oh, no!
Go, go, Buffalo!